Everybody, welcome to my channel, Be Free Now with Maria. So today I'm going to begin by pulling the first card on this deck, which I already shuffled, and this is the Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. And let's see, the card on the top says, ooh, true freedom is very close. It's just on the other side of your walls. Love that. Love how it says it's just on the other side of your walls, because we are the ones putting up the walls. In other words, we tend to think that it's the circumstances, but it's really the way we are perceiving what we are experiencing in the moment, and the way we see life, right? So if our perception is that, and our belief is that we can't do it, it's too hard, it's only for certain people, then we believe that and we won't move forward, right? But if we believe that I can do it, I don't know how yet, but I'm going to figure it out. I don't have all of the money I think I need right now, but I have some resources, right? There are ways for me to navigate and to get some of the things that I need for this moment in time. I may not have the relationships that I want in this moment, but I know that I can cultivate it, right? Or that I can start learning how to cultivate it. Notice the shift, right, in words. Those shifts may seem small, but what they do is, right, they are setting us up, right, for the possibilities. The fact that, you know, we can see that somehow something may come together for us because we show up a certain way, right, allows us, right, to break through the walls, because the walls aren't so much tangible as they are in our psyche. In other words, the walls are there because we put them up. In other words, we see that we don't have everything in this moment, and we look at it as a limitation, as opposed to just accepting what is available to us in that moment and working with that, because that allows us to build up. But if we think we don't have enough, it's not there, then we start to feel a little hopeless. We don't really see how we can build up, because our mind isn't focused on building up. Our mind is focused on how it can't work. So we want to create a shift from how it can't work to how it can work. That's the big shift. It's like, that's the shift we need to create for ourselves. But we do that, right, by shifting how we're perceiving what's in front of us and what we're thinking about it, so that we're not limited by what appears to be limited in front of us. In other words, it appears to be limited, but the reality is that any resource can support us, and we can use any resource to build us up, and we can use our desires to do the same, so that if we desire better relationships, more money, more education, or whatever it is, that we find a way, right, to connect with that and to use what we have to bring us there. Now, it may not be something that, you know, depending on what it is that we desire, right, that we can accomplish overnight. Sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. But we can start building our way up, walking in that direction, start cultivating that. But more so than the outside, it's the inside that needs to be worked on first, because we are the ones putting up the walls. And the reality is that freedom, or the desire, it's really on the other side. And the other thing is that, you know, not getting there, you know, in one day is not necessarily a bad thing. In other words, not achieving our goals, our dreams in one day is not necessarily a bad thing. You know, this isn't a race, this is a journey, and every part of the journey has its value. It's not just the destination that has the value, it's the way through it that strengthen us, build us up, gives us the wisdom, and has a lot to offer us and give us as well. So it's important to remember that as we're going along the journey. All right, now I want to pick a word from my bag of words to see what else I can add to this message and what I'm inspired to share. Okay. Ooh, enjoy. All right. So you see, that makes me think of, right? Enjoy the journey. The journey has so much to offer us. And I'm going to say sweetness. Now, not every part of it is going to taste sweet. Some of it is going to taste bitter. But the sweetness is in our perception. In other words, we can experience something that we didn't like, right? And that we would perceive it as bitter. But if we turn that around, right, and looked at what it is offering us and the opportunities that that situation is giving us, then we can find the sweetness even in the bitter situation. In other words, you know, it just made me think of when I was transferring schools. Most of my credits, not most, a part of my credits didn't get accepted, so I needed to extend the amount of time that I thought I was going to be needing to complete the program. And I remember feeling really defeated, and I even questioned. I was like, "Is this even worth it?" And in that moment, you know, it came to me that I can either do this program and be where I want to be, you know, in 3 years, or not, and not be where I want to be in 3 years. You know, in other words, sometimes we're going to not hear what we want to hear or be faced with a challenge, but how we see it is going to make the difference. Well, that thought came into my mind, and of course, then I had no choice but to pursue it. And I did. I did the program and I finished it, which then led to something else and something else, right? But the point is that if we give up when we don't get our way, if we decide that it's going to be too hard, then we're not allowing ourselves to get to where we want to get. So we want to pause, right, when we're feeling defeated or any other emotion, and reflect on what is it that we truly want, right, and walk in that direction, and remind ourselves, right, that this is a journey, not just about, you know, having something just like this and not going through any challenges or any struggles. The challenges and the struggles are part of the journey, and when we use them to grow and when we see them as opportunities for growth, we can then enjoy it. Not that, you know, we're going to raise our hands twice for it, right? So we can get a second cup of it, but we can enjoy it. In other words, we don't see it as the worst thing in the world. It gives us the energy and the motivation, right, to be able to continue going along on the journey when we're finding a way, right, to enjoy it, as opposed to hate it, not like it, detest it, or anything else. So before I go any further, also, I do want to pick up an extra card today from this deck, the Four Agreements. And the card on the top from the deck is Transform Your Life. Oh God, I can't make this stuff up. I love this. Okay. When you refuse to take things personally, you avoid many upsets in your life. Your feelings of anger, jealousy, and even your sadness will simply disappear if you don't take things personally. Now, I love that, because transforming our lives, right, makes me, right, it just feels connected to what we're talking about, right? Making changes and finding the way to do that, right? By removing the walls that we put up for ourselves. But not taking things personally is an added piece that is so huge. You know, it's not just what other people say. Life in general, you know, is a journey. But if we take it personal, it's like, you know, and we start to personalize it and to see ourselves as not good enough, or not something enough, not capable enough, or anything, right, then we're taking it all personal. We're taking it personal in the sense that I can't have this because I don't have that. It's not true. There are many things we may not start out with, but that we can give to ourselves. I didn't even like school when I was a kid. And then, as I got older, that changed. Now, if that didn't necessarily have to change for me, but what I'm saying is that, but it did. But what I'm ultimately saying is that we change. And when we get stuck on taking something personally, whether it's how we like something or don't like something, enjoy something or don't enjoy it, or what something did or what somebody did or didn't do, what we have or don't have, it all starts to create confusion for us, because we start to create these parameters or these identities of who we are, these labels of who we are. But these are just labels. In other words, if I would have stayed with the label that I don't like school, then I would have never pursued a further education, right? So I didn't like school when I was a kid, but that's not my identity. That was just how things were in that moment in time. It wasn't who and how I was going to be for the rest of my life. Or if I take what I don't have in a current moment and use that as a reason why, right? Then I'm not going to stop myself. The reality is I may not have it now, I can have it tomorrow. If I take it personally that someone doesn't like me, then I'm going to hold myself back because they don't like me, and therefore I should, stop? No, it's okay if they don't. Not that I prefer that, but it's okay. Everybody has the right, to like what they like or who they like and so forth. But when we take it personally, or we identify with the labels or with the things that we do like or don't like, we limit ourselves and we hold ourselves back, and it stops us from transforming our lives. So in order to shift from that, is we don't want to take things personally, and we definitely don't want to take any likes or dislikes or labels and use that as an identity and hold on to it for dear life and not let ourselves move forward. We don't want to use that. We want to release any self-judgment, and let it go. And how we do that is reminding ourselves of what we are capable of, and remind ourselves that the possibilities are endless. It is our job to walk through that door, get through the other side of that wall. And we do that by reflecting and taking moments of pause where we can take time to sit with anything that's upsetting us, creating fear for us, or obstructing us in any way, and learning from it so that we can then move forward. And every time we do that, we build our wisdom, we build our strength, and it makes it easier for us to be able to continue moving forward. And when we also remind ourselves that we don't walk alone, and that we are being divinely supported, then that also allows us to, it kind of gives us permission to enjoy the journey. In other words, we see it as a part of, the journey, not a burden that's going to stop us from getting to where we want to get to. It's just, like a molehill. We get through it, and then we get to the other side. We have the ability to do that. And when we do that, we create our freedom. Because every time we challenge ourselves, every time we move forward, and every time we question something, and every time we release taking things personally, we're bringing ourselves closer and closer, to our freedom. Because we're letting go of what isn't serving us and moving towards what is serving us. All right, I'm going to end with that, and I hope that this video helped you in some way. If it did, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so that you can be notified when I upload further videos. If you want to learn more about the work that I do, you can visit my website. All the information is down in the description. Thank you and have a beautiful day. Bye for now.